What's up, PLC podcast? This is a short episode. It's just me tonight. So Jay and I, we've been, again, Monday, Jay's birthday. Tuesday, Jay has a family dinner. Wednesday, I'm freaking tired. It's Thursday, and we're getting the podcast recorded. But Jay is unfortunately feeling under the weather. Hope he feels better soon. But we did want to get you a podcast this week, so it's kind of a short episode, but it kind of does what we usually do. And then the only other thing that I do in this episode is something that I realized listening back to old podcasts we haven't been doing this season, and I'm going to kick us off by starting with the standings. So I am going to talk about the standings first, then we'll talk about week 5 picks, then we will make our week 6 picks, because Jay might not be here, but we got his picks, so that's good. But standings, week 5, week 6 coming right up. See you guys in the episode, and I'll catch you guys in chat later. Peace. All right, PLC podcast. You guys wanted a podcast, and it is currently Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, headed into Friday, week 6, and this is the week 6 podcast. A little late, a tiny bit late, but it's okay. Better late than never. So here we go. It's just me today. Jay, unfortunately, is feeling a little under the weather, so he will not be joining me for today's episode, but we do have picks, so that's good. What I want to do real quick is the first thing, actually, I realized that we have not been doing this, and it's something that I want to do going forward, so we will, but standings. Just to let you know, like, where we're at to this point in the season. So right now, again, it's week 6. We have the top 4 in Aris, Zach, Ian, and Brian. So Aris, Zach, and Ian, they are all undefeated at 5-0. Brian is currently 4-1 in the 4th spot. Mike is also 4-1 in the 5th spot. Followed up by, we have 4 players at 3-2. That's the 6, 7, 8, and 9 spot in Dan, Brendan, Jay Wade, and myself. Then we have 2 players, the 10 and 11 spot at 2 and 3. That is Jay Delgado and Phil. Followed up by Stephen B. Lynn. SB is currently in the 12 spot at 1 and 4. He's the best of the 1 and 4 players with a plus minus of -7. And he is currently in that last playoff spot at 1 and 4. And then 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Everyone's kind of right there with him at 1 and 4 in Simon, Speakman, Ty, Girl J. I don't know if that's appropriate to say, but Jay Grants, and Evan, who came off his first PLC victory of all time, or ever, last week. And then followed up by Justin, who's in the 18 spot at 0 and 5. So Justin's still looking for that first dub this season, but it is coming soon. I know it is. So those are your standings. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Aris, Zach, Ian, Brian. Then 5 through 12. Mike, Dan, Brendan, Jay Wade, myself, Jordan Herrera, Jay, Delgado, Phil, SB. Followed up by 13 through 18 and Simon, Speakman, Ty, Jay Grants, Evan Ray, Justin. Why did I say Evan Ray like that? I don't know. But yeah, that's the standings. So there you go. And that's something we haven't done, but I want to do going forward. So just like when you pop into a podcast, you'll know that the standings are going to get covered, followed by, last week's picks, transactions, this week's picks, etc. So that's that. Good stuff. Okay, so the next thing to do is I'm not going to talk about any of the matches. One, I don't remember what happened in any of the matches from last week, so I'm not going to do that for that reason. But also, Jay's not here, so I'm just going to kind of cover the week 5 picks. Again, we have all of Jay's picks from last week. And then I'm going to just jump right into week 6 picks because it is late in the week. We have had a few matches, but there's still some that are yet to be played. And we just want to get them documented. We keep tabs on everyone's overall, things like that, or everyone, but Jay and I. We keep tabs on our overalls. So we just want to make sure that they are documented on the pod. All right, that being said, week 5. So I'm just going to go straight down the line, just like we always do. The first match, Dan and Simon. So Jay called Dan by 4. I called Dan by 3. Dan does win by 3. So a correct call for Jay and a perfect call for me. I'll take that. Everyone knows I need those. The second match, Evan versus Justin. So this is Evan's first dub. So Evan in week 5 of season 9 gets his first PLC win. Jay called Justin by 2. I called Justin by 3. But Evan, as I mentioned, did win by 2. So we both missed that one, unfortunately. The next match is the Battle of the Jordans. Not the formal name of it, but kind of. Jay chose Jay Wade by 2. I called myself by 2. And I did win, which was cool, but I won by 3. So correct call for me and correct call for Jay. And again, I will take those when I can. So next, Brendan and Ty. Jay called Brendan by 2. I called Brendan by 1. Brendan does win by 2. So perfect call for Jay. He's having a great season. Correct call for me. Good stuff. Next up, we have Speakman and SB. So SB was going into this game winless. Jay called Speakman by 3. I also called Speakman by 3, and SB does come out by 4. So a big win for SB to get his first dub of the year. So good stuff, SB. But unfortunately, bad call for Jay and I because we both missed it. So next, we have Brian and Jay Grants. Jay called Brian by 3. I called Brian by 2. Brian does win by 2. Perfect call for me. Correct call for Jay. I will take it. Next, Jay and Ian. So this is a match that we are involved with. Jay called himself by 2, naturally. I also called Jay by 2. He Tony Romo's me, and Ian wins by 3. So incorrect call for both of us. Phil and Zach. So Jay calls Phil by 2, kind of going out on a limb there. I called Zach by 3, considering Zach was undefeated at the time of this match. Not to discredit Phil or anything like that. That's why I said that. But Jay calls Phil by 2. I call Zach by 3. Zach does win by 4, remains undefeated on the year. So good stuff, Zach. I get the correct call. Jay, unfortunately, misses that call. And then to round out the week, Aris and Mike, the Battle of the Brothers. That is the formal name of this matchup. Jay called Aris by 3. I also called Aris by 3, and Aris wins by 3. We just know this matchup so well. We both get the perfect call to end the week. All right, so Jay struggled last week. Overall, 4 correct calls, 5 incorrect calls, putting him at 33 and 12 on the year, which is solid because it's doing better than me. So a good week for me last week, 6 and 3. I'll take that. That's not too bad. My overall is 30 and 15. So again, it's been a rough. I think I had 2 rough weeks in a row. So my overall is 30 correct calls, 15 incorrect. So Jay is still beating me on the year. Jay this week or last week had 2 perfect calls. I had 3 perfect calls. So I did a little bit better than him in perfect. But looking at our overall on the year, Jay has 11 perfect calls. I have 9 perfect calls. So he is beating me in overall, just, calls in general, and then overall perfect calls. So props to Jay. He's doing great. And we're going to continue that this year. 30 and 15 is not bad. And then 9 perfect calls is pretty solid too. So I'm not, no slouch, but Jay's just kind of doing his thing. So good stuff. And that's it. That's week 5. So that is the week 5 picks, the recap of them essentially, and our overalls. And again, transactions, we did make, this is our second weekend, if I believe, or if I remember correctly, of the infusion of Pokemon. And we had some good moves. So last week was 5.5. That's correct. Yeah, it looks like we had about, 9, 10, 11 maybe. And we had 3 trades. So it was a pretty active weekend. We're not going to really get into that. But again, good weekend for everybody. Good stuff. There's some good mons on the wire. If you still want to grab something, feel free to do so. You have an opportunity in about 24 hours. So just keep an eye out for the wire. But what we're going to do is just jump right into the week 6 matches. Again, some of these matches have been played, and I think we are aware of 2 scores, and I think we've both got the correct call there. So I know 1. Hold on, let me think. That's 2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've got 2 that have been played, and we both have a perfect call for those. So I'm not going to spoil it. If you want to stay spoiler free, feel free to listen. But yeah, I think we're guaranteed 2 perfect calls at least. So if we are ever going to have a perfect call week, this is it. And yeah, I don't think I need to mention anything else. Let me just think. No, I think we're good. yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump in then. So, week 6, we have 9 more matches to be played. First up, Ian and Phil. This is the Battle of the Brothers as well. I think I actually need to add that to the player sheets because this is the Battle of the Brothers. And Jay, he did get me his picks. He shot me a text and was like, yo, these are my picks. I was like, all right, bet. So he picks Ian by 3. I'm also going with, wait a minute, holy crap. Why do I have, hold on. I made my picks and now I'm looking at them and they're very similar. They're different enough though. We're good. So Ian by 3. Jay picks Ian by 3. I actually went Ian by 3 as well, so I've got those locked in. And next up, we actually have 3 matches played. I think because next up is Ty versus Evan. Jay picked Evan by 3. I also picked Evan by 3, and I also picked Evan by 3. Sorry, kind of botched that a little bit, but yeah, so we both went with Evan by 3, which may or may not have been played. Again, no spoilers. Spoilers, no spoilers. All right, so Simon and Jay Delgado, that's the next match. Jay chose himself by 3. Naturally, that's what you want to do. Be confident in yourself. I chose Jay by 4. I don't know if they've played or not, and I didn't think about the fact that Jay may be under the weather when I picked so high. But I'm going to roll with my answer. Jay by 4. I've got that locked in. Next up, we have Jay Grants going up against Brendan. Jay picked Brendan by 3. I actually picked Brendan by 2. So Jay did have a win earlier in the year. I think she actually beat Jay Delgado in week 3, maybe 3 or 4. So she does have a win on the year, and she's going up against Brendan. But Brendan, like we've said before, many times to this point, he's good. He's very solid. So we both go with Brendan, Jay by 3, and I chose Brendan by 2. Right in the middle of the week, we have Zach versus Brian. Jay chose Zach by 2. I rolled with Zach by 3. That's a battle of Marylanders. I'm going to clear my throat real quick. Sorry about that. All right, next we have myself, Jordan Herrera versus Speakman. And Jay went with Speakman by 2. Actually, Jay sent me a text and he didn't have this one picked. And I was like, whoa, bro. Like, I'm just going to, like, we'll omit that. You can pick, like, make a pick later. But I guess I will tell you spoilers. Speakman and I did play. And Speakman did win by 2. So I know I said no spoilers earlier. And I'm doing a really bad of not spoiling. But I just gave Jay the perfect call there. So Speakman by 2 is Jay's call. And then my call, typically I would say myself by 2 or 3. But I'm on the chase for that perfect week 2. So I'm going to go with Speakman by 2. Spoilers, no spoilers. The good stuff. The next match is SB and Aris. Jay went with Aris by 4. I also went with Aris by 4. Spoilers, no spoilers. Next, we have Jay Wade and Dan fighting it out. Jay Wade, being from the UK, fighting for the Queen, as always. Dan, fighting for the US of A. Jay chose Jay Wade, the traitor. He chose Jay Wade by 2. I rolled with Team USA and chose Dan by 2. So we'll see how that turns out. And then the last battle of the week is Justin, again, looking for his first dub this year, going up against Mike, who took a loss last week, but took a loss to his undefeated brother and is sitting at 4-1. Jay chose Mike by 4. I chose Mike by 3. So we'll see how that one shakes out as well. And that's all the picks. I'm just trying to think, is there anything else we need to cover on the actual podcast? I don't think so. Again, it was going to be a quick one. I knew that going in, but I think we're good to go. Anything of note? The sheet is updated, so the roster, schedule, transactions, standings, naturally, those are all good to go. We do a pretty good job of staying on top of those. But then the individual player sheets, those are also updated. So you'll have your wins and losses. You will also have your correct teams weeks 1 through 6. So that's good if you wanted to check that out. And if you notice any inconsistencies with the sheet, just let me know, and we will fix that expeditiously. But the only other thing I guess I should mention here is that we are in Discord now, so that's cool. It seems like the transition has gone over pretty well. Everyone's kind of taken to Discord pretty nicely. The channels are pretty sick. We have, the miscellaneous channels for just things. We've got the general chat channels. I think I added a raid channel today, so that's cool if you want to do some raids. But other than that, the scrims have been popping off. The miscellaneous channels, we have a little bit of activity in fitness. We have a little bit of activity in Fortnite, in sports. There's still some stuff for TCGs. There's a couple other things. And I think what's going to happen too is when this gets uploaded, it's going to go to the PLC content channel. At least it should, if Carlbot does Carlbot things. So that's kind of cool too. But yeah, I mean, Discord's popping off. It's doing numbers. It's doing its thing right now, so that's good. But yeah, I think that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the pod here. Thank you for tuning in. This was a little bit quicker listen if you are a regular listener. It's not the typical, hour and 30, hour and 45-minute episode that you are used to, but it was a quick one. It was a quick little pod. But yeah, I'll let you guys roll out. I will catch you guys in chat, and have a good night. Have a good day. And yeah, peace.